Blessings. I am the Reverend Douglas Taylor, and it is a joy to welcome you here again for another episode of Digging Deeper with Reverend Douglas. Each session, I respond to a question that has come to me from a member of my congregation or somebody who watches these episodes online. You can send me your question at dtaylor@uubinghamton.org. Our question today is why is there such a focus in Unitarian Universalism on white supremacy right now? So I have been a Unitarian Universalist minister for a little over 20 years now, and there's been a focus on anti-racism and systemic racism and white supremacy all along in my ministry, in Unitarian Universalism around me. There's a particular focus on recognizing white supremacy now, and that has been pretty strong for the past maybe half a dozen years. In part, I would say, because of our theology. So Unitarian Universalism does not have a shared belief system. We don't have a theology that says we all believe in this in terms of God or in that in terms of Buddha or Jesus. What we do have instead is some commonalities of theology. And one of them is the ways in which we honor and respect what it means to be human. Another one is that we are striving to live into the beloved community. So these are, and that the universe in which we live in is an interconnected whole, and we are a part of that. These pieces don't necessarily talk about who God is or anything like that, or what happens after we die, but these are common pieces in a lot of the theologies that show up in Unitarian Universalism. And this is why we are paying so much attention to white supremacy and trying to dismantle it. That sense of what it means to be human that comes out in a lot of the Unitarian Universalist pagan theologies, a lot of the humanist and atheistic theologies, and a lot of the Christian and Jewish and Buddhist versions of Unitarian Universalism that are out there talk about human beings as inherently worthy, and that we have, everybody has a common center of goodness within us, worthiness, that our goal is not all to get to heaven or nirvana or enlightenment, but to become a community in which we care for each other. The UUA principles talk about affirming and promoting the use of justice and equality to create human communities, the goal of world peace and liberty for all. These are statements of a goal that we have theologically, I would argue, to create a community that dismantles white supremacy, that takes down bigotry, that disallows that kind of divisiveness. And that seventh principle that we have of the interconnected web of all existence, that's sort of this context, like all Unitarian Universalists, most Unitarian Universalists will abide by a theology that says we are interconnected, that we are not separate from the rest of creation, the rest of the universe, and that how we interact matters. So that is the context in which we say the minorities and the people who are vulnerable are part of us, that we are not separate from or better than, that we are all part of this. So Unitarian Universalism has had a very strong focus on dismantling white supremacy a lot lately. And I would argue that it comes from our theological commitment to build a beloved community, to value every human being, and to recognize our interconnectedness on a theological level. across the variety of theologies that we have among us. This has been Digging Deeper with Reverend Douglas. Blessings.